I'm really kind of pissed off right now, so forgive my demeanor. My 360 just finally got the 3 red rings of death after I just bought 2 brand new games. So, a little ticked off at that. But hey, I wanted to get a PS3 anyway, so it's all good. Fuck Xbox. Composed. This is my How Leaving the Watchtower Society Affected Me video. I want to do a proper one. This is as proper as I can do right now because my video camera is broken, so you gotta deal with it. I will try to speak clearly and pronounce my words clearly enough for you to understand me. I've been told I mumble sometimes. That's because I'm usually high. Sorry. So, I figured the easiest way to do this, because I do tend to ramble, and that's because I do have ADHD, or no, I have ADHD because it's adult. Had it since I was a kid. I was actually on medication for it when I was in 7th grade, but then my mom took me off of it because she said I was asking for it. Maybe I realized it was helping me. I don't know. So I've been working on meditation techniques and organizational skills now, so I can present things in a more in a better way, whatever. Okay, so the best way, like I said, the best way for me to do this is to just answer the questions that Proper gave me, and to be as direct as I can about them. I'll go into a little bit of detail. When I feel I'm beginning to ramble, I will probably just cut it short and go straight to the next question. So, here we go. Are you in the Watchtower Society today? No, I am not in the Watchtower Society today. Are you better off today away from the religion? Yes, I am better. Do you wish you were still in it? No, not at all. Fuck no. Did you lose family, friends when leaving? Yes, I did. A good amount. Do you feel others should join this religion? Hell no! If you could give someone advice who is interested in this religion, what would it be? My advice is to do your research about the religion. Please also speak about other issues you may have experienced or noticed with the Watchtower Society. Okay. Things I've noticed with the Watchtower Society. Um, what issues have I had with them? My issues have been, well, because I was younger at the time and a male, they were of the sexual nature. I really, really liked girls. Was really, really into girls. I still am. Don't get me wrong. I'm married, and of course, happily married, but I still love women. And so a couple of my big things were pornography. I'll be right up front about it. I think I was addicted to it for a while, maybe. And I think I believed I was addicted to it because the Watchtower Society told me I could be addicted to it. And I think that was before, they started having, people started believing that, you could actually be addicted to sex, and they started having clinics for it. And, way before, what's his name? What was it Halle Berry's ex? And Tiger Woods, way before all them. But, and that all started because I just, I was walking down the street one day and I found one, and that was it from there. But I always felt guilty about it, and I always felt that God was watching me, and it made me feel really bad. So I always felt guilty every time I went out in the service or went to the hall or anything like that, because I'm like, I don't want to be here right now. I want to go look at that Playboy I just stole, or something like that. So I was always feeling guilty about things like that at the hall. And I mean, now that I'm older, I realize, it's kind of a normal thing. Obviously, you're a boy, you're growing up, you learned about things. You learned about it in a religion that's basically, I mean, they're not, it's not like they're all virgins or that they're all abstinent or anything like that, but they pretty much frown on sex. They tell you that oral and anal sex are uh, evil deeds, demonic deeds, homosexual deeds. Just because gay people can have anal sex and oral sex doesn't mean it's only a gay deed, because obviously heterosexual people can have it as well. But just the fact that, the Bible doesn't specifically point that out, but they can go so far as saying, well, we believe those are homosexual acts, so, those aren't allowed in the bedroom. And don't just think they take your word for it if you tell them that you have or anything like that, because in those judicial meetings, they ask you some questions. I know for a fact, because as I said, one of my problems was with of the sexual nature, and one of the reasons, no, it was one of the reasons why I was read off as no longer being a unbaptized publisher was due to a sexual story. Now, I'll tell you exactly what happened. There was a female who had been actually disfellowshipped and was recently reinstated, and we had grew up together. So, when we were younger, you play house, whatever, like that, and stuff like that. So, because of that, she eventually had this crush on me, and a really unnatural crush. I found out later now that she's been in a mental institution now a couple of times, and like, she really was off the deep end. So she was crazy. I wasn't imagining this. So she had this really unnatural infatuation with me, and because of that, um, uh, and she had big titties too. I was little. I was young, well, not little, but I was younger, and hormones raging. She had big titties. I wanted to squeeze them, whatever. So, anyways, one day we ran into each other downtown, and we kind of talked a little bit about doing a little something in the changing room. So we go to the changing room and we start fooling around a little bit. I got my little feels on or whatever. We spoke about oral sex. She chose not to do it. I chose not to do it. I don't remember if I said it first or she said it first, but we both did agree that, we're not going to do this. It's not going to be a good idea. We didn't feel right about it. So we left. This was before she got reinstated, by the way. But anyways, after she got reinstated, I guess she felt she needed to clear her conscience or whatever, and said that we had. I'm not sure if it was a slip of her tongue because she was speaking so fast in there, but she said we did. So, they ended up, wanting to speak to me. So I go in there, and I'm like, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. I told him everything else. I'm like, yeah, we spoke. I touched her, whatever like that. I was straight up honest about that. They didn't want to believe me. I'm sitting there like, she's been disfellowshipped before. I haven't been in trouble before. I had never been in trouble, really, to that point. I had never been in a judicial meeting. Yet, they felt that they wanted to agree with her over me. And one of the things I didn't like about it was that the second time we went back in there, because the first time it was just me and the brothers, the second time we went in there, she was in there as well, explaining her story, saying, you know what we did, I'm like, yeah, I know what we did, but we didn't do what you say we did. I don't know why she was trying to break me down with her for rejecting her, because a couple of days later, actually, I got a ring on my doorbell. My doorbell rang, and I opened the door, and a stick swings by my head, and it was her. She was trying to hit me. I had my little cousin behind me and everything. I'm pushing the door, trying to keep her back. She's coming at me. Eventually, get the stick out of her hand. I didn't hit her. I grabbed her by her shirt, pushed her. She fell back. I slammed the door. Didn't see her again for a while. So yeah, that bitch was nuts. But anyways, because of that situation, and because of certain people who she started speaking with after that, who were former friends of mine, who are actually, to be specific, a friend of mine who was doing music with me, two friends of mine who were doing music with me, who were also witnesses as well. One who was my wife's ex. So he was mad because he felt I stole his girl. So anyways, him and this female, the reinstated one, and the other dude, they become close a little while after this incident. And rumors start spreading around about me. So I got read off. So, anyways, I had a gripe about it for a while. So that was honestly one of the main reasons why I left. Um, like I said, I was young then. I left. I moved out when I was 20. Uh, this was all around the time. Yeah, this was all around the same time because also around this time I had a really good job, and because of the job I was getting late to meetings, and my mom had this long conversation with me that if you have a job that intervenes with your uh, if you have a job that intervenes with your meeting schedule, then you cannot work there. You quit your job. You have to quit your job. And I was like, what? So, I was trying to make it. I was trying to make it, but it wasn't working. So after they read me off as that, I still had the job. Me and my mom kind of got into an argument, and she was basically just like, look, these are the rules. As long as you live under my house, you have to go to the meeting. And I was like, well, I'm not going to quit my job just to make it to the meeting. And she said, well, then you need to find another place to live. So that night, I called my sister up. She told me I could move in with her. The next day, I told my mom I found a place to live, and I was out by that weekend. Uh, did I leave? Was I forced out? Whoever wants to look at it, whichever way, it happened. It's a done deal. I don't regret it. I understand now that I was an immature decision at the time because I was young, but I don't regret it. Uh, Now because that story of me leaving home coincides with me leaving the hall, some people view me as, which is why I picked this name, bad association, because they said I left. I took a sister with me. I was drinking, I was smoking, I was doing all these things, but you also have to realize, I hadn't experienced the world. I had never seen the world. I didn't know what the world was other than in the quotations, the world, as the society described them. So I was just living, just experiencing. And I'm still living and we're still experiencing and still learning things, and I don't regret it at all. So that's my kind of detailed experience. Um, uh, my mom and a lot of sisters that I had, and I say sisters because of the title that these older women had, they were called sisters, so and so. Um, I still had it up until, and I say up until very recently, because they still, I really avoided them. Like me and my wife, we moved kind of not really far away, but far enough that we didn't have to go to that hall. So that even to this day, when we run into people, actually, sometimes they say, "Hey, so what hall are you going to?" And I say, "We don't go to any hall." And you have to realize that even though I am pretty much open about not going to the hall and not being a witness, I'm still trying to save the relationship with my mom. So with some people and with certain people, I'm kind of vague about my decision. I let them know I'm not really going. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing some soul searching at the time. But other ones do know. So, but it's a little bit different for my wife because she is still baptized. As father's an elder, mother's a pioneer and everything. Her brother's an elder now. Uncles are all elders and ministerial servants, and it's crazy. I'm surprised none of them freaking run Bethel now. But so I did lose a lot of friends and family, but I did retain that relationship for a while because they still believed I would come back, and I loved them. These were women I considered my aunts. They had basically helped raise me because she was single mother raising me, so she needed a lot of help. And the sad part is that when I had a conversation with my mom not too long ago, actually last week, where I wanted to get into some deeper things, let her know my concerns about the Watchtower, basically to let her know that I don't believe in it. And I was basically kind of ambushed, as I said before, because my aunt was there, and so like that really just caught me off guard because she was one of the people I wanted to speak to on my own terms because I knew she would understand kind of in my own way, but because I was speaking to my mom in a certain way and then she showed up in the middle of the conversation, I had to continue with the line of thinking I was going in, so it came off a little more bold than I would have liked to present her. But whatever, it has to happen at some point. I still love her to death. anyways, like I said, I try to retain those relationships, and yeah. But anyways, so I mean, that's what I kind of said right now. I go into more detail as far as the questions. So, are you in the Watchtower Society today? No, I say no, but obviously because of that little explanation, I say sometimes kind of yes because I still catch myself using the little loaded words that they use. The world, the truth. Well, I don't refer to things as that. Well, no, okay, I'm gonna edit that out. Are you in the Watchtower Society today? No, I'm not in the Watchtower Society today, but my mother is, and because I still try to hold some sort of relationship with her, I haven't let her know I'm a 100% full-blown apostate. So certain people in the Watchtower Society believe I'm still in it, believe I'm just inactive or whatever, but I'm not. I know I'm not. And am I better off today away from the religion? I say yes, I am better off, but you also have to believe. Then don't think I didn't go through any hard times or anything like that. Definitely went through hard times. You know what I'm saying? My first 6 months after I moved out and leaving, you know, I lived for me and my wife lived on a porch. You know what I'm saying? And this was in the winter in New England. So I mean, it was the width of our bed. Well, no, the length of our bed was the width of the porch. And that's how much room we had. And we lived there for the first 6 months of not going to meetings and everything like that. And then, I mean, that was in '05 or whatever like that. It's '05, '06, 2010 now. And we're really just, honestly, in all seriousness, just now getting our feet planted and, you know what I'm saying, starting to grow some roots. And it's a good feeling. It took us a while. There were times where we didn't think that it was going to happen or that we were going to make it or that we made the right decision. There were times we thought about going back to the hall. There were times we did go back and visit for a while. We made Sunday meetings for like 2 or 3 months. But that was before we started doing more research into the actual religion. And that honestly, that was before, that was in, that had to be at least '08. But that was before I found out about the UN thing. That, for me, was the final straw that the witnesses could not excuse to me. That was the final straw. That, honestly, was the one that I thought would break my mom. And that was actually the first topic I brought up to my mother, um, questioning any doctrines that the witnesses have. And it was definitely their association with the United Nations for a decade. You can't get around that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to call a certain entity a harlot, or it was a harlot, or something like that. You know, you can't call something that and then be a part of it. Say that it's going to be destroyed. It's a disgusting thing. You know, stay away from it and be an entity of it. Something's be part of it. Be part of it so much that the title that you hold means that you have to spread good word about them. You know what I mean. Anyways, so yeah, that was the main thing for me, the UN. So I mean, I wish I could give more concrete things about how it's affected me and stuff like that, but I hope just by hearing that, it's helped you to understand my story a little bit more and why I won't go back and why I refuse to go back, why I will not go back. And do not think that I hold any grudges against that congregation. I realized at the time I was upset with the brothers, I was upset with the congregation, I was upset with the entire organization, and I hated every single witness. Yes, I did. But I'm older now. And I realized that that was wrong. And there are good witnesses. There are sincere witnesses who believe they are doing what they are doing because it's the right thing to do. And that's good, and I commend them for being strong, moral people. I do. But I just don't think that you should have my mom under the spell that she needs to cut her son off, her only son. And let me be specific in letting you know this. When I say single mother, she's not even my birth mother. She is my maternal aunt. Okay? When I was born, my mother couldn't take care of me. So my aunt, out of the goodness of her heart, took me in and raised me. I actually didn't, and I didn't learn that until I was about 6 years old. But, you know, so I know there are good witnesses that she had a good heart for taking me in, but because of this religion, she will choose to not speak with me and basically disown me. Like, for me, that's a that's a heart wrenching and mind boggling idea. Like, I never understood how someone could disown their own child in the first place, seeing because especially if they came from their own loins. But because she picked me because I was her sister's child and she didn't want anything to happen to me, she raised me as her own. Now because I'm older and I don't believe the same thing she believes, it's okay for her to just cut me off when I know she wouldn't do that because my family's not like that. My family's the most loving family in the world. You can be a complete asshole to each other and hate each other, but if you're in need and you need something or you need just someone to talk to like that, they'll be there for you because that's my family. They're loving. They're all like that, and she's like that as well. She just has this religion creating this wall and this barrier between her family, and that's something that I want to break down. It's something that's kind of that's building between us. Sad to say, and I want my entire family to be united, and I feel like I've always felt like that. I had always felt me and her were the black sheep of the family. Now I feel I'm the gray sheep. She's still the black sheep, and I just want her to at least get a little gray, you know, to just so she can actually be unified with her family again, and it would just be a wonderful thing. So I guess to answer the question how it affected me, it's made me feel how leaving has affected me. It's given me my family back. One thing, it's let me realize what a real family is, and it's it let me know how that's what it's done.